You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're not insecure. You feel it, don't you? That quiet distance between the two of you, the late night phone calls that don't make sense, the forced smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes anymore. There's a voice in your head whispering that something isn't right, and yet you silence it, hoping it's just your imagination. You tell yourself you're being too much, that loving her harder will fix it. You want to believe the woman you share your heart with, your secrets, your plans, couldn't possibly betray you. But here's the truth. Women who cheat don't always say it, but they always show it. And it's not about blame. This isn't about pointing fingers or stirring anger. This is about protecting your peace, your dignity, and most of all, your emotional clarity. Too many men are walking around broken, questioning their worth because they refuse to see the signs, because society told them to man up instead of listening to their intuition. You deserve to understand what's real and what's manipulation. Today, I'm going to help you read the signs before it's too late. You know, one of the most heartbreaking shifts in a relationship isn't when someone stops saying, I love you. It's when they stop feeling you. When the connection starts fading, not because of time, not because life got busy, but because emotionally they've already started checking out. When a woman is cheating or even emotionally invested somewhere else, you'll feel it long before you ever see it. And most times it begins with her emotional presence slowly vanishing. She's there, physically, maybe even sitting right beside you, but the warmth, gone. The laughter that used to be effortless now feels forced. The way she used to ask you how your day went, really ask like she cared, that turns into, okay. As she scrolls through her phone, she starts saying less, and listening even less. It's subtle at first, so subtle that you might brush it off. You tell yourself, she's probably tired, or it's just a phase. But it's not. What you're experiencing is emotional unavailability, and it is often the first, clearest sign that her heart is no longer yours. And here's what's even more painful. It makes you question you. You start wondering, am I not enough anymore? Did I do something wrong? You try harder. You plan surprise dates. You open up more. You become more vulnerable, thinking that if you just show her how much she means to you, she'll come back emotionally. But she doesn't, because emotionally, she's already with someone else. And you know what hurts the most? When you can feel her giving someone else the very attention, warmth, and softness she used to give you. She's laughing at someone else's jokes. She's sharing her day with another voice. She's emotionally engaged, but not with you. This is not about blaming her. This is about you trusting yourself. Emotional disconnection isn't random. It's a symptom. And you can't heal a relationship by yourself when the other person has already left in spirit. So don't ignore that feeling. Don't suppress your intuition. Emotional presence is love's oxygen. When it's gone, you can't breathe in the relationship. And if she's already breathing life into another connection, then it's time you start choosing your own emotional survival. You deserve more than a body that stays. You deserve a soul that chooses you every day. Let's talk about the phone. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a phone, right? Everyone values their privacy. And yes, that's true. But let's not pretend we don't notice when the rules start changing. In the beginning, she'd leave her phone lying around without a second thought. It would ring, and you might even hand it to her. She'd smile. There were no secrets, nothing to hide. But now, that phone might as well be her second skin. It's always with her, always. In the bathroom, under the pillow, in her hand, screen down. Notifications suddenly on silent. Passwords changed without a word. And when you ask, she says, you're being insecure. But you're not. Because here's what's really going on. When a woman starts getting emotionally or physically involved with someone else, her phone becomes her shield. That little device becomes a vault protecting the part of her life she doesn't want you to see. You'll notice she becomes jumpy when you're near it. She angles the screen away. She walks out of the room to take calls from work that somehow always last too long. She's laughing at texts she doesn't explain. And when you finally get the courage to ask, the tables turn, you become the problem. You're controlling. You don't trust her. But all you're really doing is noticing what's changed. Let me tell you something. Women don't hide what they're proud of. When she loves you and she's loyal to you, there's no need for a fortress around her device. She might still want her privacy, sure, but she won't weaponize it against your peace of mind. It's not about invading her space, it's about transparency. If something's wrong, you'll feel it in your chest before you ever see it on the screen. And that feeling, that tightness in your gut, isn't paranoia, it's truth trying to speak to you. You see, a phone doesn't destroy trust. Secrecy does. And when you start seeing her phone becoming more important than your peace, that's not love, that's a warning. Don't ignore the quiet moments when she pulls away. Because most betrayals don't start with a kiss. They start with a message, a connection, a secret. And when the phone becomes a hiding place, it's usually because her loyalty has already left the room. You ever notice how people who are guilty start acting like you're the one who did something wrong? This is one of the most emotionally confusing signs of betrayal, and sadly, one of the most common. When a woman is cheating, or even thinking about stepping out, something starts bubbling under the surface. Guilt. And guilt, when unspoken, has a funny way of turning into anger. Suddenly, she's irritated with everything you do. The way you breathe, the way you speak. You could be offering help or trying to be loving, and out of nowhere it becomes a fight. She snaps at you, shuts you out, or makes you feel like you're always doing something wrong. But here's the truth. She's not mad at you. She's mad at herself. But rather than sit in the discomfort of her own choices, she displaces that emotion onto you. She creates distance by building tension. That way, she can convince herself that maybe you're not so great after all. Maybe this is justified. Maybe you deserve the silence, the anger, the cold shoulder. And because you love her, because you care, you start believing it. You start apologizing for things you didn't even do. You start chasing after her peace while sacrificing your own. You tell yourself, she's just stressed. Or maybe I'm not giving her enough. But brother, I need you to hear this. People who are committed don't make you feel confused about your worth. They don't use guilt as a weapon, and they don't start fights to cover up their shame. A woman who's cheating often needs a reason to justify her betrayal, and if she can make you the villain, it becomes easier to play the victim. Don't fall for it. Her consistent irritation is not your fault. Her sudden coldness is not just a bad mood. Her picking fights out of nowhere, that's not a coincidence. That's a mask, a distraction, a way to keep your eyes off what's really going on. So instead of asking, what did I do wrong? Ask, what changed? Because when guilt shows up as anger and love starts to feel like punishment, it's not love anymore. It's someone hiding their truth and hoping you won't notice. Let's talk about intimacy, not just the act, but the energy, the connection, the unspoken bond that happens when two people come together, not just with their bodies, but with their souls. You see, when a woman is in love with you, when her heart is fully yours, you can feel it in how she touches you, the way she looks at you, the way her body softens when she's with you. Intimacy becomes effortless, safe, sacred. But when she starts cheating or even emotionally attaching herself to another man, that sacred space begins to close up. You'll notice it first in the subtle shifts. Her kisses become colder. Her hugs feel like they're made of stone. She may still sleep with you, but it's different now. It's rushed, disconnected, robotic. And sometimes she pulls away completely. No more cuddling, no more deep eye contact, no more of those quiet, intimate moments where words weren't needed. It's like something's missing, but you can't quite name it. And so, once again, you turn inward. You think, maybe I'm not attractive anymore, or maybe I need to change. But don't be so quick to shrink yourself. Because when a woman starts emotionally investing in someone else, her intimacy with you becomes a performance. And eventually, she can't even keep up the act. Her body will betray her truth. Why? Because women are emotional beings, and when our emotions shift, our bodies follow. We stop offering what no longer feels aligned. We detach physically when we've already detached mentally. This doesn't always mean she's sleeping with someone else yet, but it does mean there's someone or something else occupying the space you used to fill. And that matters. And here's the hard part. You can't fix it with more flowers, more compliments, or more effort. Intimacy isn't something you force. It has to be given willingly, wholeheartedly. So if you're lying next to her, but she feels a million miles away, listen to that. Because silence during intimacy is louder than any scream. And absence during closeness is the most painful kind of presence. You deserve someone who chooses you not just with their lips, but with their touch, their time, and their truth. Anything less is not love. It's just a body staying behind while the heart has already gone. Now, here's a tricky one because it feels good at first. It feels like things are getting better. She's suddenly sweeter, more thoughtful. Out of nowhere, she's making your favorite meal. She laughs more. She initiates intimacy again. She compliments you like she used to. And for a moment, you start to believe maybe everything is okay again. But deep down, you're still confused. Because just last week, she was cold, distant, dismissive. You were sleeping next to a stranger, and now suddenly it's warmth and softness again. Let me tell you something that might be hard to hear. Sometimes guilt doesn't make people confess, it makes them perform. When a woman has crossed the line emotionally or physically and she still wants to keep you, she'll overcompensate. She'll become overly affectionate, not out of love, but to keep the peace, to convince you and maybe even herself that everything is still fine. But here's the thing. Real love doesn't swing between hot and cold. It doesn't disappear one week and flood you the next. When the affection feels like a performance, it's usually because it is. Guilt is a strange motivator. It makes people do just enough to calm your suspicion, but never enough to rebuild your trust. So you end up in this cycle where your heart is constantly confused, where you start asking, is this real or is she just trying to cover something up? And the most dangerous part, you begin to crave these highs. You hold on to the sweet moments, telling yourself, see, she does love me. But those moments aren't consistent. They're temporary. They come in waves just enough to keep you from walking away. That's not love. That's manipulation dressed as affection. So I need you to look beyond the sweet words, beyond the sudden gifts, beyond the kisses that feel just a little too rehearsed. Ask yourself, does her affection feel safe or strategic? Because love doesn't need to hide behind overcompensation. Love shows up consistently even when no one's watching, even when there's nothing to prove. If she's suddenly doing the most, when for weeks she's done the least, it's not love coming back. It's guilt trying to make you stay. You ever listen to the way someone talks about their future and realize you're no longer in the picture? It doesn't happen loudly. It's quiet, subtle, a shift in language that feels like a shift in love. She used to say, we, now it's I. We should travel together next summer. Becomes, I'm thinking of going to Italy next year. We should move in together soon. Becomes, I'm looking at new apartments downtown. And maybe at first, you don't even catch it. You nod, you smile, you support her, because that's what you've always done. But then one day, you realize you're standing on the sidelines, watching the woman you love build a life that no longer includes you. This is one of the quietest, yet most painful signs that she's already halfway out the door. When a woman is emotionally invested in you, truly she includes you in her plans without even thinking. It's natural. She wants to grow with you, not around you. But when her attention starts shifting elsewhere, when someone else is giving her emotional stimulation, she starts dreaming differently, strategically, separately. And you feel it. You try to bring up the future, and she dodges, gets vague. She doesn't want to talk about all that right now. Or she gets defensive, like your desire for a shared life is somehow pressuring her. But deep down, you know what it really is. She's already planning an exit. And here's the dangerous part. She might not even realize it yet. Sometimes women start emotionally separating long before they consciously make the decision to leave. Their heart moves before their body does. And by the time you ask what's going on, she's already miles ahead emotionally. So if her vision of tomorrow doesn't have room for you, don't wait for her to spell it out. Don't sit there hoping you'll be written back into a chapter she's already rewriting. You deserve to be part of someone's future, not just a placeholder in their present. And if she's dreaming out loud, and those dreams don't include you, then it's time you start dreaming for yourself again. Because love is not just about where someone stands with you today. It's about whether they see you in their tomorrow.